Fauci's the worst, but he's worse than that. I think he's far worse than that. I think he's deceptive. It's a game plan where they're in cahoots with the pharmaceutical drug companies, and they push this thing as being the only remedy, and this is how, and they make tremendous amounts of money. Yeah. If you supported him because you thought that he was the science, and then over time, you have realized that, oh my God, they did work with Peter Datzig, they did fund through another organization gain-of-function research. He did lie about it. It was talked about in emails. He did contact people who were saying one thing and had them change their position. He did. They did ridicule the lab leak theory when they knew it to be correct. They knew it. They knew they were doing the exact same research on the exact same viruses in that exact same place where it broke out. They knew it. Right. And they lied because they wanted to cover their, and we let them get away with it.
After what the left did to Joe Rogan, after all of the smears and lies they pushed against him, this man isn't holding back, and neither should we, because Fauci's lies destroy lives. This man committed crimes against humanity, and Fauci's policies, along with the political support he had, his policies made the elite, people like him and his allies, Big Pharma and all these guys, they got super rich. They made billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars actually, while completely wrecking the finances of the entire country. So the question is, why the hell is Joe Biden considering giving this man a pardon?
January 9th, 2024, Dr. Anthony Fauci admitted during congressional testimony that the 6-foot social distancing mandate, quote, sort of just appeared, end quote.
The shocking admission comes nearly 4 years after statements like this.
Every aspect of that ending the COVID outbreak in 30 days has some aspect of it of physical separation, whether that's avoiding crowds, whether that's staying 6 feet away from people.
Dr. Fauci also forced Americans to wear masks after admitting that they don't work.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
And remember when he said that the COVID vaccine would stop you from getting infected?
The situation is so clear, the data affirm, if you get vaccinated, you are protected, even with the Delta variant.
And they stood by and watched as he destroyed our schools, our churches, our businesses, and our economy. I was posting scientific evidence and warning that Dr. Fauci was wrong about many of these issues. And to silence that criticism, government officials and their allies in the media branded me as a conspiracy theorist. And now Dr. Fauci is finally admitting that the Wuhan lab leak is not, after all, a conspiracy theory.
The most likely origin is a jumping of species. I still do think it is, at the same time as I'm keeping an open mind that it might be a lab leak.
Censoring people, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, completely calling people conspiracy theories, saying you're making stuff up when you're telling the truth. Facebook admitted, Mark Zuckerberg came out, a month or two ago, and admitted that he bent the knee to the political establishment, to Joe Biden and them, and completely lied and censored his own users who were telling the truth about this. They pushed these mandates. They closed down churches, had the strip clubs, the liquor stores, they were wide open. The weed shops, they were open. Couldn't go to church, though. Couldn't go to your job. Couldn't open your business. They arrested the lady in Dallas for opening her hair salon. While Nancy Pelosi, I think she was in California, Beetlejuice, Lori Lightfoot, both of them, they went to their hairstylists. They got their hair done. But everyday Normans couldn't do it. And this was all under Dr. Fauci's dictatorship. Now he's in trouble. Finally, Trump, his worst nightmare, Fauci's worst nightmare, even though Trump did give him power in the beginning. But Fauci is now in trouble because the House Republicans, with their committee on what the hell happened with C-19, that committee is looking into getting the DOJ involved, is looking into possible charges. Maybe prison time, but I doubt that'll happen. But something for Dr. Fauci. So let's take a look at this short clip right here.
Welcome back. The House Select Committee on COVID is levying very serious accusations against public health officials, including a potential cover-up. Their bombshell report also reveals major findings on the virus's origins.
Republicans on the committee argue the origins of COVID were tied to a lab in China, and there may have been cover-ups about pandemic information from those who work on public health. There are questions about a possible criminal probe.
There are some recommendations we might make and have made for criminal referrals, but at the same time, a lot of the information should be looked at further, maybe by Department of Justice, and decide if there are further actions to be taken.
Republicans on the panel say Peter Daszak of EcoHealth used taxpayer dollars for gain-of-function research in Wuhan. They claim that David Morens, an advisor to Anthony Fauci, tried to hide pandemic records. But Democrats stand by Fauci.
The person that I felt the sorriest for, or who I felt was trying to do a good job, was Tony Fauci.
Democrats on the committee say Fauci did not suppress the lab leak theory. Fauci says he told the truth.
The second issue is a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab. In fact, the truth is exactly the opposite.
Let's get some more information from this excerpt from New York Post. When COVID broke out from its Wuhan epicenter, the NIH, along with China's government, began pushing the now discredited narrative that it had originated in nature. Remember that whole lie? Oh, it was a dirty bunch of filthy Chinese people. They're poor and hungry. They're eating bets in the wet market, and the bet got it from, what the hell? I forget the animal. But the bet was out there in a cave in a forest somewhere, got it from some animal. And then the nasty, dirty Chinese people, like the Democrats push, that's what they said. They said it was a bunch of filthy, dirty Chinese people eating bets in the wet market, contracted this virus and spread it all over the world. That was the story. That was the BS lie. And so many holes were in this story. I immediately said, what the fuck? This is bullshit. But let's continue. Worse, the NIH campaign to intimidate anyone who disagreed. A campaign spearheaded by agency chief Francis Collins and Anthony Fauci, who okayed multiple grants for EcoHealth. And Fauci repeatedly tried to pull the wool over the eyes of Congress with semantic games about NIH involvement and funding research. Yeah, there was a lot of BS coming from this guy. A key Fauci aide bragged about hiding info from Freedom of Information efforts, all while demanding utterly unscientific responses like masks and vaccine mandates, schools closures, and social distancing, which Fauci would later admit was based on made-up nonsense. This is what these guys did. Completely made shit up. Made shit up. We need to close the schools. You guys need to get this vaccine. It's going to save lives. You got to wear a mask. You're killing grandma. All the while, all of these companies, Big Pharma, the mask producers, all of these companies making billions and billions of dollars. And while the elite, like Fauci himself, while Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, people like that, they walked around people in crowds and stuff with no mask at all because they didn't give a shit. They knew it was all a lie. Now, let's jump on over to this ABC News excerpt. Biden considering preemptive pardons for officials Trump might target. You see how they frame this? Because ABC News is the worst propagandist outlet in America. So they're trying to frame it like Trump is doing something bad and covering up for Fauci's crimes against humanity. President Joe Biden and his senior aides are discussing possible preemptive pardons for people who might be targeted by the incoming Trump administration, according to a source close to the president. Possible names include current and former officials such as retired General Mark Milley. See, that's a different story right there. Former GOP Liz Cheney, Senator-elect Adam Schiff, and Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, if Fauci has nothing to hide, which they've been hiding with cover-ups and blocks to the Freedom of Information Act, but if Fauci has nothing to hide, why the hell does he need a pardon? Why is Biden going to say, look, whatever Fauci may or may not have done over the last several years, you're pardoned from it. You're free to go. So if we found out that Fauci was a full-blown criminal mastermind, I already pardoned him for it. He's not serving any time. He's not getting charged with it. I'm going to block Trump before he gets in. Because this is how filthy, how sleazy these elitists are. Why would Biden risk political fallout by issuing a pardon, a preemptive pardon to Anthony Fauci? Because they know this man's doing dirt. They know that it was all a ruse. It was a scam. They destroyed lives in order to get paid. This is what the military industrial complex does all the time. You got people over there in Ukraine and the Middle East getting killed every day, while the military industrial complex rakes in billions of dollars over time, trillions of dollars. And Big Pharma said, hold my beer. You guys been doing this. Let's take a page out of your book. Let's crush Americans. Let's crush people around the world. Let's spread the virus. Let's let this shit leak from the lab in Wuhan. Let's cover it up. Let's lie. And let's force people to get a fucking useless vaccine. Not even really a vaccine, a therapeutic. So we can get paid. We don't give a fuck what happens to their businesses, what happens to their lives. We don't care who dies. We don't care about any of that. Let's get paid. That's what Fauci and we're engaged in. Biden knows it. Biden's handlers know it. And that's why they want to issue the pardon, because these guys are scum. So let me know what you guys think about this. Fauci's legacy is under fire. The Democrats, some of the Democrats are still trying to protect this man. But the Americans deserve the truth. Is Biden actually going to issue this pardon? Is he going to shield Fauci with this cover-up? Or will justice finally be served? Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe if you want more honest conservative commentary. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.